Welcome to Axis Moneynomics by Axis Mutual Fund.
Imagine you're at a grand buffet with 500 different dishes to choose from. Instead of picking one or two dishes, if you get to taste a bit of everything, the thought itself is so satiating. How about such an opportunity in the world of investing? Today, we are going to explore an investment opportunity that offers a similarly comprehensive experience in the stock market, the Nifty 500 opportunity. Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Axis Moneynomics. This is Hari from Axis Mutual Fund, and today we have with us Vandana Trivedi, Head of Institutional and Passive Business at Axis AMC, to help us know more on this. Welcome to Axis Moneynomics, Vandana.
Hey Hari, thanks a lot for having me here.
Vandana, there are so many investment options in the stock market. How does a beginner go about investing? What do you think is a good starting point for them?
Yes, Hari, there are so many investment options today that an investor could very well get overwhelmed with the number of options that are available out there. However, there is a hack to this as well. What an investor could do, especially a beginner, is to start with a broad market exposure rather than just trying to buy individual stocks or trying to understand individual sectors. So market indices, or index as we call them, can be a great way to achieve this because they include in one investment option a number of companies from different sectors. Thus, what an investor achieves is that he spreads his risks and at the same time captures the overall opportunity that index would provide. In this case, the India growth story opportunity that could be captured by some of these broad market indices.
Speaking of market indices, Vandana, I understand the Nifty 500 index is one such index. Could you explain to all our listeners what the Nifty 500 index is all about and why it can be beneficial for the investors to get an exposure to this index?
Absolutely, Hari. The Nifty 500 index is a broad-based index that represents over 90% of the free float market capitalization of stocks that are listed on the National Stock Exchange of India, that is the NSE of India. These numbers are as of March 31st, 2024.
Sure. But what makes this Nifty 500 index beneficial for a lot of beginners who want to begin their investment, Vandana?
Well, there are several benefits. Firstly, of course, it is diversification. Since the index includes companies from various sectors, it helps spread risk. Instead of putting all your eggs in one basket, you get to spread them across 500 different companies. Also, investing in an index like the Nifty 500 is way simpler than trying to pick individual stocks. It reduces the complexity of stock selection and helps mitigate the risk of investing in just a single stock. That is, it tries to reduce the volatility of just having a single stock exposure. Plus, with the broad market exposure that it offers, you are not overly reliant on just any one company or any one sector, which is true of cyclical growth periods. So the first one was diversification. The second big benefit, in my opinion, Hari, is market representation and performance representation as well. By tracking the Nifty 500, you're essentially getting an exposure to a significant portion of the Indian capital markets or the Indian equity markets. Like we told you, the Nifty 500 is tracking 90% of the free float market capitalization of the NSE. So to give you a perspective, for the last 15 out of the last 18 calendar years, this index has delivered a positive return. Finally, for investors with a long-term horizon, this index offers the potential for gains that can beat inflation as well. Again, data of past performance of this index suggests that, so if we were to look at the rolling returns, rolling 10-year returns, there has never been a single year where this index has given a negative return. Therefore, what it means is that by staying invested for longer periods of time, in this example, about 10 years or more, you can actually benefit from the potential growth of the economy.
Great, Vandana. I think this makes a lot of sense. You talked about the fact that by investing in the Nifty 500 index, you get the diversification, thereby an exposure to various sectors and industries. You talked about the representation in the sense that you get an exposure to the Indian economy in a way. And you also said that by investing for the long term, investors can generate returns that can potentially beat it. Wonderful. I think there's some exciting news for all our investors to get the access to the Nifty 500 index, and that's via the Axis Nifty 500 Index Fund new fund offer. Vandana, could you quickly introduce this new fund to all our listeners?
Certainly. The Axis Nifty 500 Index Fund is a passively managed mutual fund that aims to track the performance of the Nifty 500 Total Return Index. This means that it will mirror the index as closely as possible. The fund is therefore packed with all the benefits that we have just been discussing, Hari. This is a new fund offer, that is an NFO, and the NFO will begin from the 26th of June 2024 and will last until the 9th of July 2024.
Wow, that's super exciting, Vandana. Just one quick question on this, Vandana. Who are the right set of customers for this fund?
Sure, Hari. Certainly, this fund is a fund for everyone. However, to get more specific, this fund is particularly suitable for retail investors who are seeking long-term wealth creation by participation in the equity markets. However, there may also be people who do not have either the time or the expertise to actively invest in the markets. Additionally, this fund is also very suitable for discerning investors or investors who already have exposures to equity markets to build this as a part of their core equity investment portfolio. So be it a first-time retail investor who is a beginner to equity markets or a discerning, well-experienced equity investor, for both of these categories, this fund is a perfect fit.
One final question, Vandana. You did touch upon the point that, by participating in the Nifty 500, one could sort of, in a way, mirror what is happening in the Indian economy. Could you explain this in more detail?
Sure, Hari. I'm glad that you asked me this question. So when we say that this is a broad-based index, what do we mean? What we mean is that this provides investors with a way to participate in the overall growth of the Indian economy. We've been all hearing and also experiencing how equity markets have been doing very well, how India is stacked up to be the third or the fifth largest GDP in the economy, how our market capitalization is also heading to be in the top 5 in terms of comparison with other major economies in the world. What the Nifty 500 index does is that it gives you an exposure to various sectors such as IT, financial services, healthcare, consumer goods. Also, importantly, to sectors which may not be there in other indices such as realty, that is a real estate sector, such as consumer services, which essentially captures all your hotels and other consumer-facing service companies. This means that when you invest in the Axis Nifty 500 Index Fund, you're essentially investing in the overall growth and development of our country. That is overall growth and development of India. You may already know, obviously, that the numbers in terms of India poised to become the third largest economy in GDP terms by 2027 has been something which has been spoken about by numerous researchers and economists. So the fund will give investors an opportunity to capture some of these opportunities that are there in the country by virtue of exposure to both large cap companies and emerging growth of mid and small cap companies, all with just one single investment.
Superb. While you were talking about this, Vandana, I could sort of visualize, participating in the growth story of the country. As the Indian market grows, driven by a variety of factors like demographic dividend, the young population that we have, the rapid urbanization, and a digital revolution that we have all been witnessing for quite some time now. I think funds like this offer a way to tap into that potential. That does make a lot of sense, Vandana. Thank you so much, Vandana, for sharing your valuable insights with us today.
Thanks a lot, Hari. It was a pleasure to be here.
And that's a wrap for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this episode valuable, make sure to follow our podcast, Axis Moneynomics. Do share it with your friends and family diving into the world of investing. And yes, keep an eye out for more updates on our Axis Nifty 500 Index Fund and join us on this growth journey. Until next time, this is your host, Hari, signing off.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.